Artificial intelligence is literally reshaping our world, from our health to our finances. But as these smart systems make more and more decisions for us, a huge question comes up. Can we actually trust them? Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on responsible and explainable AI to figure that out.
So, here's our game plan. First, we're going to get on the same page with the basic language of AI. Then we'll dive into the real-world, high-stakes decisions these systems are already making every single day. After that, we'll look at the core principles for building AI we can actually rely on. And finally, we'll see how we can crack open that AI black box to understand what it's really thinking.
All right, first up, let's build our foundation. Getting these core concepts right is the key that unlocks this whole conversation about making AI safe and trustworthy. Let's start with the big one, artificial intelligence, or AI. Really, all it is this big idea of making computers think and act like we do. Imagine a machine that doesn't just follow a script, but can actually look at a chessboard, come up with a strategy, and make its own moves to win. That's AI in a nutshell. Okay, so how does a machine get smart? Well, one of the main ways is through machine learning, or ML. Instead of programming a million different rules, we just let the computer learn from data. Think about it like this. You don't write code that says a cat has pointy ears and whiskers. No, you just show the machine thousands and thousands of photos of cats and dogs, and eventually it just gets it. It learns to spot the difference all on its own. Now let's talk about a type of AI you have almost certainly used, large language models, or LMLs. These are special AIs that have been trained on just enormous amounts of text from the internet, from books, you name it. And because they've read so much, they can understand and generate language in a way that feels incredibly human. The most famous example, of course, is ChatGPT. And this brings us to the creative cousin in the AI family, generative AI, or Gen AI. This type of AI doesn't just analyze information, it actually creates brand new things. When ChatGPT writes a poem, that's Gen AI. And so is a tool like DALL-E, which can create a totally original, amazing picture from just a few words you type. Okay, let's do a quick recap to make sure that all sticks. AI is the big picture, smart machines, like a self-driving car. Machine learning is how they learn from data, kind of like your email spam filter getting smarter over time. LLMs are the language pros, like ChatGPT. And Gen AI, that's the artist, creating totally new stuff.
So, we've got the basic terms down. But look, this isn't just a bunch of theory. This technology is already out there making huge, high-stakes decisions in the real world, and those decisions are affecting all of our lives. Let's see where.
And this goes way, way beyond playing games and making art. AI is working in our hospitals, helping doctors diagnose diseases. It's in our banks, deciding who gets approved for a mortgage. It's even being used in our legal system and in the military. These aren't just small tasks. These have life-changing consequences.
Which, of course, leads to the really big question. With stakes this high, what happens when it gets things wrong?
The risks here are very, very real. An AI that's trained on biased data can make really unfair decisions about who gets a job or a loan. A flawed algorithm in a hospital could lead to a misdiagnosis. And if we can't even understand why an AI made a certain choice, how on earth can we ever trust it? Every single one of these failures can cause serious, real-world harm.
So, how do we get all the good stuff from AI without these massive risks? How do we build systems that actually help people instead of harming them? Well, the answer is in a framework called responsible AI. Responsible AI, or RAI, isn't just some buzzword. It's a real commitment to designing, building, and using AI in a way that is ethical, fair, transparent, and, most importantly, safe for people.
And this commitment really stands on 6 crucial pillars. First, fairness. The AI can't discriminate. Second, robustness. It has to work correctly and reliably, every time. Third, transparency. We need to be able to understand its decisions. Fourth, accountability. When something goes wrong, someone has to be responsible. Fifth, privacy. Our personal data absolutely has to be protected. And finally, safety. The AI just shouldn't cause harm, period.
That pillar of transparency is so critical, it actually has an entire field dedicated to it. This brings us to our last section, how we open up that AI black box with something called explainable AI, or XAI. Explainable AI is pretty much exactly what it sounds like. It's all about designing systems that can tell us how they got to an answer and why they made a specific choice. It's the difference between getting a mysterious no and getting a clear reason.
Let me make this super concrete for you. Imagine you apply for a loan. A black box AI might just spit back one word: rejected. No reason, no context. It's frustrating and it's not helpful. But an explainable AI, it gives you the reason. Your loan was rejected because of a combination of low income and a poor credit score. Now you have a clear answer and you know what you need to work on. That's the power of XAI.
So how do we get these explanations? Well, there are a few really clever techniques. One is called LIME, which is great for explaining one single decision. Another is called SHAP, which goes even further and shows you how much each individual factor, like your income or your credit history, push the decision one way or the other. And then there are counterfactuals, which are so cool. They basically tell you exactly what would need to be different to get another result. For instance, if your income were $10,000 higher, your loan would have been approved.
So, if there's one thing you remember from all this, let it be this: AI is here, and it makes decisions. Responsible AI is the framework we use to make sure those decisions are good and fair. An explainable AI is the tool that lets us look inside, understand those decisions, and ultimately build real trust.
And that leaves us with one last question to chew on. As AI gets woven deeper and deeper into our lives, making calls about our health, our money, and our future, you have to ask yourself, would you be willing to trust one that can't explain itself?